been hounded.
Questions? Go ahead,
Hey, Coach. Cameron Buford here, LA News Observer. You guys met these guys about 3 weeks ago, and you barely scored 50 points. Tonight, you scored over 100 points. Outside of holding them to 22% three-point shooting, what would you credit that to?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think Washington was, obviously the loss of Deladon early in the game changes them offensively. They're still a great team, even without her on the court. But we have to acknowledge that in some ways. And then from there, I just think our team, we've gotten better over the last few weeks, and we've tried to work at a lot of the things that you know Washington exposed, in us in the first matchup, and we've gotten a chance to practice and work. With Candace and Elena back on the team, and that helps us a lot on both ends to get those reps in, and we're seeing a little bit more carryover from practice to games on a nightly basis, and those are all good signs. But it was a really good team win for us today.
Dana?
Coach, when you talk about the offensive freedom that you want your team to play with, is this sort of like the idealized version of that?
In some ways, there are some possessions where it's too much freedom, and just some of the quicker shots in particular, depending on time and score. We have to continue to strike that balance. But overall, in terms of the context, yes, when we can score 98 points and Candace only shoots the ball 8 times, that's the type of overall offensive freedom that we feel like over the course of a season, and if we're fortunate enough to be in the postseason, it's hard to scout and game plan for a team that offensively uses everybody. And that's the type of team that we want to be. We don't want people to be able to load up on the players that have the biggest names. We want everybody to be a threat out there.
Um, Javier, actually, earlier this year when I asked you about Chelsea Gray, you had a quote. You said that you felt she could be a double-digit points and assist type player. Obviously, she got a triple-double tonight, but is this performance kind of what you expect to see out of her consistently, or what you envision?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, man. Triple doubles obviously don't come often, in the W, and so that's a great accomplishment in itself. The eighth time in the history of this league, and it's been 22, 23 years almost. That's quite remarkable. I think we'll see more of them going forward because the players are getting better and more versatile. To Chelsea specifically, maybe maybe not always the rebounds in terms of 10 rebounds, but I do think the assist numbers in particular with lower turnovers is something that as we continue to show trust in who we are offensively and we're moving the basketball and not relying so much on her individual greatness to get points, yeah, I do think that her assist numbers can be higher on a regular basis. Uh, they pay a lot. They pay a lot of attention to Chelsea when she has the ball, and so I think that she can continue to improve at making other people better. And as a team, we can continue to improve in our spacing and making sure those opportunities are there.
Jason Taylor, TG Sports. Coach, what was it? Two-part question. What was the plan coming into this game? And what did you see in the second half that you didn't like? Because I know there was a switch in the second half. Christian Tolliver went off. The ball was sticking. So what was it that you didn't see? What you saw in the second half that you wanted to change?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, our plan was, just to be better. I mean, it's feels like a long time ago in a sense since we played, the Mystics the first time. But we definitely felt like it was a good barometer for us to see how much we had grown over the last few weeks. The practice time, getting a little bit healthier, starting to become a little bit more sure about this version of our team. So our plan was really to just go out and lay it all on the line, play hard, compete hard. Some things that we can tighten up defensively, which we did. And then because Washington forces a lot of turnovers through activity, rotation, long arms, we wanted to limit our turnovers, and we did that. Um, so those things were good. In terms of the second half, I thought the third quarter we started the half a little bit slow. And I took a quick timeout to start the third quarter, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes into the quarter, because we just didn't look like the team that wanted to win the game to start the third quarter. We were just kind of running up and down the court, not with the type of pace and intensity that we need to have. So I didn't like that in the second half. And then to start the fourth quarter, that bench unit that we went to as a collective, like they have to take ownership in those situations. We're up 20 points. They're professionals. I don't care if it's 5 bench players. They need to be able to go out and maintain what their teammates have established prior to them getting on the court, and they'll be able to do that. You know, you think about Kalani, Marina, Sydney. You know, 3 players that haven't played a lot of minutes in the W. That every opportunity to get in a game and face what you face in games, it's all new, and so. Even though the game got a little closer, like we have to go through those experiences. We're kidding ourselves if we think that, you know, in September and October, when we need those players to play 3 minutes so that some starters can come off the floor for 3 minutes and we can't maintain a lead of any kind, well, we're not going to win a championship like that. So we have to go through this in July in order to understand what it takes to win.
Megan?
Um, can you talk about your transition defense? You've been preaching it a lot in pregame and postgame. Just talk about how effective it is for the team going forward.
Yeah, it's the key to defense. Is where it starts. You know, the first kind of layer of good transition defense starts with good shot selection, good floor balance on the offensive end, and when we're shooting the basketball well. I think that energizes everybody, you know, in terms of getting back on defense because they want to get another stop so they can go down and, you know, and score more points. So I think our transition defense has improved over the last few games because we've gotten better offensively as well. But it's the key to everything, in particular when you play against teams like Washington that have shooting and ball handlers and playmakers at every spot. You can't just run back to the paint because they can shoot the threes. You can't just run to the three-point line because they have players that can penetrate to the basket. So we work at it constantly, and again, that's one of those things we just didn't have as much opportunity to do when we played Washington the first time with Candace back in the lineup, and then Elena in Seattle and Phoenix. We just, you know, we didn't understand what it was going to take with this group, and we're starting to get better in that area.
John W. Davis with WNBA. Coach, when you look at this game specifically against the Mystics, I know you mentioned there's a caveat, Belladonna only played 1 minute, but if we put that to the side and we just talk about the Mystics, what can you take from this game that you can carry throughout the rest of the season? Because the Mystics are a premier team in this league.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to acknowledge it because it is a reality, but at the same time, you know, nobody felt sorry for us when we had players out. So I don't feel sorry for them. Obviously, her injury, I think Coach Tebow said she may have broken her nose or broken something. So you never want that to happen at all. In terms of us, what we can take from it, I think as Washington showed throughout the course of the game, like they still put out a great amount of fight. Like the players that finished the game when she went out, like they never gave up on the game. They were fighting, they were scrapping, they were holding, they were grabbing, they were playing the way professionals compete. And I think for us, the takeaway from this game is even with their best player, arguably the MVP so far of the league, out, like they still tried to bring it to you. And it forced us to, you know, continue to have to reach down and compete at really high levels. And that's the part for us that I think always will be kind of like the gauge. Like if you see us like all out, you know, diving for loose balls, flying all over the court, hitting people, being physical, then that's when we're going to be at our best. If we're just kind of floating around and, you know, trying to be finesse about everything we're doing and just kind of float through it, then we won't have a chance to beat the best teams at least. And so I think that's the takeaway for us is that regardless of opponent, we got to be willing to kind of die a basketball death, so to speak, every game. Like you got to be willing to empty your tank every time you step on the court. And at times we've done that, and we're getting closer to doing it more often. Yeah.
Rico.
Hi, Coach.
How you doing?
Nice win, Coach.
Thank you.
Can you frame for us, Coach, within the policy of the WNBA, for speaking about the officials, but we saw rare play tonight, the double technicals of the players and then the coaches. Can you frame that a little bit and tell us what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Tebow and I went out on the court really to separate, to make sure that the players were separating from one another, which we're allowed to do when the players are getting close to, physically confronting one another, etc. So that was really kind of how it started. I'm not sure what the officials detected in terms of why the two of us got double text. We weren't arguing and cursing or anything at each other. So I guess we just got text for being on the court. Maybe they can explain better why, but it happens, and it's my first one. So we broke a lot of records today, including that one.
Last question, man.
What was your reasoning behind Quantum Williams starting, if at all, and what did that impact you?
Yeah, I mean, I think over the last 3 or 4 ball games, once we had played a couple games with Candace back in the lineup and really, I think for all of us, including Candace, getting a gauge for where she was at that time, we needed another player offensively in particular that could be dynamic and cause problems for other teams defensively, to be able to attack, to be able to get to the rim, to be explosive. We needed that while Candace is working her way back to being the type of player that's normally her a lot of nights. So that was the first thought. But we didn't want to lose anything defensively, which is why, initially Elena and TRP were on the court, because we really want our defensive identity to be a consistent thing for us. But Raquana has also accepted the challenge defensively, where she's not only providing offensive contributions, but guarding the other team's best perimeter player at times, and just competing and scrapping and showing a level of competitiveness that we need. So she, for a long time, has preferred to come off of the bench, and I just think that she saw a need for her team, and she's filling the need that we have, and she deserves the credit because she's putting the work in. She's the first one in the gym almost every morning, and is transferring over to the game.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh yeah, and I want to say real quick too, happy birthday to Lisa Leslie, because I know that the team was the fastest to 450 regular season wins, and a lot of that's not possible without Lisa. So a lot of other players as well, but I meant to say that earlier. But happy birthday to Lisa, and congratulations to everybody on the 450. That's in 20 years, 34-game season. That's a lot of wins.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
And here we are now closing things up here at our final wrap-up on the big win here by the Sparks over the Washington Mystics. Final score, 98-81, and they win going away because, why? The explosion continues from the offense, and it's led by, of course, Raquana Williams, and we have also Nneka Ogwumike throwing in 31 points, giving her a double-double, and a triple-double goes to Chelsea Gray because of the artistic and the Picasso-like work she did today, just putting on a tremendous show on offense and defense, and of course a big win for the team, and everyone else contributed mightily to this big win for the LA Sparks as they now move over 500 with a 7-6 record now, their third win in a row here at home. But now they take a break and begin a road trip and return here in 2 weeks for their next competition. But the Washington Mystics still one of the powerhouses right now with a record of 10-4, we believe. That is the record that they brought into the game, and coming out of the game with a loss of 10-4, and they go back to the Eastern Conference. So that will do it. You've seen our interviews with the players on our press conference coverage with head coach Derek Fisher, who is just really finding the true five, or the true rotation, the team that has a big, big identity here where everyone that comes in produces and does very good things to lift the team and keep the momentum going, as they would say. And now the streak is alive at 3. So 98-81, a big win for the Sparks. They continue on now. But special day today, and it goes out to none other than Lisa Leslie with a big happy birthday. And of course, there's a big imprint of her here on the court. So for Eric Sarn and yours truly, Rico Cabrera Sr. doing the interviews and of course the wrap up, and Eric Sarni taking all of our video and our photography, we thank him again as well. But we also thank you, our viewers, for hanging in there with us here on East LA Sports Scene. So as we always say, be careful, be safe, but more importantly, be back and watch us here on East LA Sports Scene and on our social media platform. Phone number to call us, 723-2830 with a 323 prefix, or area code, 323-723-2830. We'd be glad to hear from you. So give us a call whenever you have a chance to do that. Take care, and we will see you very soon.